on, let me ask you, I want to bring your attention to when you first observed him, the out of his truck, and around his truck, and he held up what appeared to you to be a badge, correct?
Yes.
And you said you hear him yelling, stop at the time as well?
No.
In your prior statement of June 23, 21, in lines, question 9, line 9 to 15, did you say that you heard him yelling, stop, stop?
Where is this?
Question 9, lines 9 through 15.
Where did I say this? I'm at question 9 on page 3.
All right. You say at line, we're on page 3.
Correct.
Okay, starting at line 9, reads, does it not? And at that point, he rounds the front of his car as I'm backing up, and I see him flash a very small, and I know he legitimately was a police officer, but to be completely honest, it did not look real. And again, he's in an unmarked vehicle wearing a t-shirt, so I'm like, this might not be a cop. You can pretty easily fake badges. And I see a gun in his hand. So at that point, like, your heart kind of stops, and I'm okay. I'm like, okay, I want to get the hell out of here. And so he's screaming, stop, stop. You that?
Yes.
Now you remember him yelling for you to stop?
I don't recall that.
You don't recall that, you don't deny that's what you said previously, correct?
No, I'm not denying I said that. I'm not just denying he said that either. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Now, you also said in the same statement you saw a gun in his hand, right?
Yes.
When you got out of the truck, correct?
Yes.
That wasn't true either, was it?
From my recollection now, I don't believe that was accurate.
And from your seeing the video, you know it's not accurate, right?
Yes. His hand was near the gun, but he didn't unholster or take out the gun.
When was his hand near the gun?
Pretty much the whole time. It was just near his hip, yeah. From my recollection.
Exhibit A. Let's go to A10. He's just about to get to the front of his truck, correct?
Yes.
Now he's in just at the corner of his truck. He's got his left hand up.
Yes.
The one you saw in the back, what you believe might be a badge, right?
Yes.
You're backing down at this point. His right hand is coming up. I think you may have said this yesterday, that he had it up like, telling me to stop.
Yes.
You saw that at the time, right?
Yes. The badge in his hand go like this. Yes.
So his hand's not near his hip, is it?
Are both of his hands up in that?
Yes.
Okay, I don't remember that. It happened clearly because it's in the video, but I don't remember.
Okay. So then you said, well, you thought it could be a fake badge, something you could buy in a Halloween store.
Correct.
Now, I want to show you, like, I believe that you're on States Exhibit 24. It's full. States 24 is the badge he had that evening. Can you see it?
Yes.
All right. See it from there, right?
Yes.
See where it says Pawtucket Police?
I can't read that, but I see where you're pointing.
All right. See it now?
Yes.
You see the state of Rhode Island insignia?
Now that you're pointing to it, yes, but while in a moving car, I wouldn't be able to tell.
Your Honor, that just may publish it just by showing it. In your experience, have you ever seen something, a badge like this in a Halloween store?
Yes.
Aren't they typically plastic?
That could be plastic. I didn't touch it.
But you assumed it was plastic.
Yes. I don't know what material it is.
You assumed it was plastic that night? A fake badge?
Yes.
So rather than considering it might be real, and he may be an actual policeman, you chose to come make the other conclusion.
Objection.
Same.
In those same Halloween stores, you can buy policeman costumes too.
Correct.
Would you make that same assumption if you saw a policeman in full uniform, that he might be wearing a Halloween costume?
Object, Your Honor.
Basis.
It's not legally relevant as the case stands now.
Same.
So we do know you see a badge in his hand. We do know you hear him yell stop, although you don't recollect it today. And you at some point see a weapon on his hip.
Yes.
And it's visible, correct?
I don't recall if it was concealed or visible.
Well, if you saw it, it must have been visible, right?
Yes, when it came above his shirt. I'm not sure if his shirt ever concealed it or if it didn't. I don't remember. I'm not denying it was out. It could have been. It could have been
Okay.
either.
And in this state, if you know, policemen are permitted to wear a weapon, non-concealed, right?
Objection.
Same.
Was that an indication to you that he, like the badge? Was that an indication to you that he might have been a policeman? Just like the badge might have indicated that to you?
Was what an indication?
The fact that you saw a weapon on the outside of his waistband?
No. From what I know, anybody can have a gun that's over 21 and doesn't have a felony. So it could be any of us in here, pretty much.
And you certainly have enough life experience in order to plainclothes police officers out on the road, right?
Yes.
Detectives, correct?
Yes.
Narcotics guy.
Which Daniel Dolan is not.
You understand they could be out on the road, narcotics police officers?
Yes.
So you knew Daniel Dolan that night?
No.
You knew him not to be a narcotics officer?
No.
Why'd you just say that?
What do you mean?
What matters is what you knew or believed that night, Mr.
I did not believe he
Right?
was any type of cop.
Right. You weren't backing on that driveway saying to yourself, hey, I know he's not a narcotics officer. Right?
Well, I was saying I believe he's not a cop.
Talking about what you just volunteered in this court. When I asked you a very simple question, you added on, and Daniel Dolan's not a narcotics officer.
Correct.
That's all I was asking you about. Did anyone in your vehicle, including you, say, hey, it's a cop?
No,
Was there any discussion along those lines?
I don't believe so. Again, music was loud. I don't want to vouch for what Jimmy or Joey may have said, but
That's what you heard?
yeah, I don't believe so.
Okay. Now, you acknowledge that the actual shooting incident itself was very quick, right?
Yes, the whole encounter was rather quick.
Couple of seconds.
Yes,
And then you immediately drove off, as you told us yesterday, and realized that you had been hit, right?
yes,
And then you pulled over up the road, up Route 3, and stopped.
correct,
You got out of your vehicle,
correct,
you saw the Dolan vehicle come up behind you,
correct,
you got out of your vehicle and you walked toward him asking him for help, right?
My initial intention getting out of the car was to walk back toward the businesses. The other direction, there were no businesses, so I was just seeking general medical help, and then he pulled up. I just want to make that clear.
In your prior statement, you testified you got out of your car and you walked toward Dolan before he even got to you. Wasn't that your prior testimony?
Yes, because of where he was positioned up the road. He was coming towards me. We were going towards each other, because he was up the street at the Wicked Good Pizza, and I was toward Coventry.
You didn't mention anything about going to look for businesses, right?
In what? In my testimony or in
Yeah,
the statement?
Your prior statement?
I don't recall the exact. Where are we talking about in the statement?
Do you recall making any such statement? I mean, not in there, I can tell you that, but do you recall otherwise?
Recall what?
Saying that you got out and went looking for businesses.
No, but I'm saying now that's what I did. I don't recall if I said it or not before.
Well, why don't you stop your car and get out and look for business instead of just driving forward a little bit into a busy parking lot or a store or
There-
McDonald's or whatever's in the area?
There was nothing in the area. If you look at the street down the road there's a liquor store and then there's nothing.
Well, if there's nothing, what are you getting out of your car looking for?
I'm coming back toward the businesses. No offense to Jimmy and Joey, but I'd rather try to get medical help from an adult. We were all, well, I guess we were adults, but
Okay?
some 18-year-old kids aren't going to help me.
Well, they didn't, right?
No.
Dolan did. True.
Attempted to.
You're getting back to that now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you get out, and there's Dolan, and rather than run away or do something else, go in a different direction, run and hide, what you do is you go up to him and ask him for assistance. Okay?
Well, usually running away from the person who shot you would result in you getting shot again. That would be my assumption.
If he was a bad guy.
Sorry, what?
If he was a bad guy, that wouldn't be true.
He did shoot an unarmed person.
If he was a bad guy, that wouldn't be true. Right?
What do you mean?
Trying to figure out what you're saying, Mr. Mason. You said you would not run away because the guy might shoot you again,
Correct.
okay? So I guess going up to him makes it more difficult for him to shoot you then.
Well, yes, because I don't appear to be a threat. If I'm running away, that appeared. I don't know how to explain myself. That was just my thought process of what was going through my head at the time. I prefer not to get shot again. What should I do? Running away makes it seem like I don't know. I don't know how else to explain myself.
You had the Audi that night,
Yes.
much higher performing vehicle than a pickup truck, right?
He caught up to me.
Because you stopped. Mr. Mason, you stopped, right? Right?
Did I stop? Yes, yes.
knowing that the person who shot you was just 100 or so yards away. True?
Yes. Well, I stopped the car because I was afraid of bleeding out. We showed the sweatshirt the other day. My whole arm was covered in blood. I didn't want to keep driving and pass out and crash or die in my car.
You needed assistance at that point in time, right?
Yes.
And the first person you went up to for assistance was Daniel Dolan.
Who else should I have gone to? No one was there.
The first person you went up to for assistance was Daniel Dolan.
That's
True.
correct. He drove up behind me and he was the first person I encountered. That's correct. If there was a single other soul there, I would have gone to them.
Bunch of people on the road driving by.
Was I going to step in front of a moving car?
First person you went up to for assistance was Daniel Dolan.
And also, I couldn't go like this because my arm was broken, so I couldn't really wait for help. I could barely walk. I was keeled over.
Put one arm up, Daniel Dolan.
To get him to stop, yes. I wasn't going to leave my arm down.
You
and look
said you
like
would
that.
have put two up if you could, right?
Yes.
This is what people do when they're surrendering to authorities, right?
Or surrendering to someone that just shot them. Anybody.
Someone who you might thought of was a policeman.
Incorrect. If someone was robbing your house, you might put your hands up in order to have them not shoot you.
Nobody was robbing your house.
No, I'm just using that as an example.
You were pulled over because you were injured. And all I'm trying to ask you is, the first person you went to for assistance was Daniel Dolan.
Yes, that's correct.
Because then, at bare minimum, you had an inkling that he may very well have been a policeman.
Not at that time, no. I did not think a policeman would act in the way he did.
Let's take a look at that. You get out of the truck, flashing a badge, right?
Correct?
Something a policeman would, right?
Correct.
You didn't get out of this truck shooting randomly, right?
He did shoot me.
You gotta listen. Here's my question. He did not get out of this truck shooting randomly, right?
That's correct.
The gun never even came out of the holster, true?
But it did come out of the holster when he shot me later.
I'm talking about when he got out of the truck.
Yeah, the first thing he did was not take the gun out of the holster.
A12 takes the badge out, which is told us that. The gun-
Correct.
The gun stays in the holster,
Correct.
like a policeman would do. Right?
Objection to this
Right.
continuing line of questions.
Then he rounds his vehicle. He's got a hand up signaling you to stop, right?
Correct.
While his badge is up, true.
Correct.
Something a policeman might do, right?
Correct.
Objection.
By the way, it exhibit A15 and 14, they're still in, your vehicle is still in camera view here, right?
Yes, it's kind of behind the truck or on the side of it.
And the side of the vehicle that's facing Dolan, other than the front, is the left side, driver's side of your car, right?
Well, in this frame, he's in front of my car. Like I'm backing up and he's coming toward the front.
Right, and then you're gonna back up and you're gonna go out of view and begin that turning motion, right?
Correct.
So you're still in front of your car.
Yes.
And you never took the weapon out, shot, and then.
No, not at this point, no.
Right. And last we see Dolan on cameras at 21:15:28, the weapon is still not out, right?
Correct.
Now, again, you told us you were asking for help, and you did offer assistance.
Oh, yes.
And you accepted that assistance.
No, he just came over. I would prefer.
When you put the tourniquet on, you let him put it on, right?
I don't know how I was supposed to stop him. I prefer he didn't touch me, but I couldn't really do anything to stop him.
Were you satisfied with the policeman at that point?
No.
Objection.
Same.
In the frames we just looked at, A10 to A18, I want to go back to that night in your mind. Did you ever consider stopping?
Up until this point, no.
Yes. Yes, up until this point.
No, I did not consider stopping.
Mr. Vincent, I want to wrap this up with you, one or two more questions. We've been discussing whether you knew or suspected you might have been a policeman or not. I want to get beyond that for a moment.
Okay.
Okay. What I want to ask you is, the real point, Mr. Vincent, was that you were concerned that he actually was a policeman. Isn't that true?
Objection.
Same.
Did you have a concern as you back out of that lot that he was a policeman?
Objection.
Same.
Was it your goal at that moment to get away at all costs as you're backing down the lot? Right up until the time before the shot is made, to get away at all costs.
To get away. Not to get away.
Driving toward a busy highway, backwards.
Correct. We can't see it anymore on the board, but that's why it's like an S, because I wanted to go like that and not end up in the road.
So you can get away.
Yes, in the safest manner possible. In the safest manner possible. That's why I didn't just back straight into the road.
Even if it meant running someone over.
Incorrect.
Correct?
Incorrect.
No other question.
is your memory the first time you sensed the white vehicle, the white Ford truck?
The first time I visually saw the car was when he had pulled up next to me. But by next to me, I mean in my peripheral vision. Like right now, I can see next to me. So this area is where I saw him. So I'm looking forward, but he's not in front of me. He's on the side, which again, there was a point made about when he pulled in earlier. That's what I meant by when he was pulling in, because I could see him still moving into my frame of vision.
And I believe you answered Mr. Colucci's questions on cross-examination about your highway travels, correct? About whether or not you remembered seeing that F-350 on the highway?
Daniel Dolan struck me?
Correct.
Correct, yes.
Do you have any memory at all of seeing that vehicle, either passing or approaching or anything like that?
No, like I told Mr. Colucci, all I remember is the motorcycle.
So, with respect to your travels on Route 95, do you have any problem or reservation accepting the fact that you were operating at approximately 126 miles an hour on that stretch of highway?
No, I was going 126 miles an hour, and I'd like to add in, it was not safe. I would not do it again. I don't advise doing that. It disregarded the safety of my friends in the car, people on the highway. Just want to make that clear. It was stupid.
Well, Mr. Colucci asked you a few questions from some medical records. You remember being confronted with these?
Yes, the inaccurate statements.
Well, let me ask you this. You didn't type your own medical records, did you?
No, in the room there was a bunch of nurses.
And I assume you've never worked in the hospital, is that fair to say?
Yes,
You've never had responsibility for medical records or how they're created or stored?
correct.
You don't know how they're put together by the various people who might work on a medical record, is that fair to say?
That's correct.
And were you, for lack of a better way to put it, professionally interviewed by nursing staff or doctors or anything like that?
Was I professionally interviewed?
Right. They didn't sit you down and ask you question after question about what happened, did they?
No, it was kind of, especially in the trauma unit, it was very chaotic, and there was probably, I probably spoke to a dozen people within an hour.
And no one brought you a written statement after the fact for your hospital visit to say, is everything true in the statement? Is that fair to say?
That's correct. I was never given any written statement.
I'd like to talk a little bit about Wicked Good Pizza itself. You've indicated that you're a frequent patron of that establishment, fair to say?
Yes.
And you've given us a little bit of testimony about the configuration of the lot. And what we've seen up here, I'm going to ask my associate to put up a still image from the Wicked Good Pizza lot from State 17. Did you recognize this view?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this area right here appears to be concrete, is that fair to say?
Correct.
What is that?
The surface,
Yes.
it's a concrete sidewalk type thing.
And what is it attached to, if anything at all, outside of the view of this picture?
The front of the Wicked Good Pizza, where you can see the guy's legs. He's talking into the window.
All right, so we're here viewing frozen frame 211000. And you've indicated there's an individual here on the left side of the image, correct?
Correct.
And right in front of where he's standing, what would you be standing in front of?
There's multiple sliding windows. There's either 2 or 3 of them where you don't, at the time COVID was still prevalent, so you didn't go inside. They would come to you with the little sliding window, kind of like an ice cream service type thing.
And we see individuals in the lot, and we see a couple vehicles, is that fair to say?
Yes, that's correct.
Based on your experience with Wicked Good Pizza, would this be a fairly common configuration in that lot?
You mean like a couple cars and a few people walking around?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask Mr. Guglielmo to play 1 minute's video from this point on. that be fairly typical of an evening at Wicked Good Pizza based on your experience there?
Yes.
Guillermo, if you advance to 2115. And I'd ask you to play from this point on. On cross-examination, Mr. Colucci was asking questions about this scene using frame-by-frame and slow motion, correct?
Correct.
And you indicated that you wanted to make reference to the full motion video, didn't you?
Correct.
Now, with that segment of video having been played, can you describe exactly what we saw you doing as you pulled into the parking lot? Why were you making those maneuvers?
You mean when I was positioning myself to park?
Correct.
I wanted to park at a backwards angle similar to the other car that was backed in on the opposite side.
Were you trying to prevent that truck from going anywhere?
No. I didn't know he was there yet.
And as you indicated, it was your peripheral vision, correct?
Correct.
When we see your car leave the field of video that we have available to us, we see Dolan go down to the roadway, you've described his actions relative to your car previously in your testimony, correct?
Correct.
And at one point, he was in fact in front of your car,
Correct.
Now, you've also given us an account of how he came into contact with the car.
Correct.
And I'd like to just focus on that for just a little bit if I could. How did you describe Dolan's movements with you backing out?
He was coming toward my car, kind of aggressively.
Right? Did that aggressive manner change at all when he got in front of your car?
No.
How did it stay?
It remained aggressive.
All right. And why would you use the word aggressive for that period of time?
Still angry. At that point, I could see his face more clearly because he's directly in front of my car, kind of bumping his hand off of it. So he looks agitated. He's rapidly approached my car. And again, like I believe it was yesterday, he kind of hoisted himself over my car later. So after he moved across the whole front of my car. So the whole thing, he's kind of just agitated seeming.
You described previously in your testimony that Dolan was at one point in front of your passenger side headlight, correct?
Correct.
Right. And from there, how long did it take him to move closer to the center of the vehicle?
Very quickly. The whole time he's in front of my car is a couple seconds at most.
And then from the center to the driver's side, how long did it take?
It's probably about split in half. I think he just kind of went across the car. And like I said, he hoisted himself over.
Would you describe this movement as continuous?
Yes, he was kind of sidestepping while bumping. Again, I'm not bumping him with the car. He's bumping his hand off the car like this.
So to your knowledge, did your car ever come into contact with any other part of Dolan's body than the hands he placed on the hood?
When he slid across, he may have grazed his legs when he went across the top, but I never hit him with the car.
And when he got across to that side, remind us what happened next.
So I see him kind of exit my peripheral vision, and then I hear him scream, "You're gonna get shot," or something along those lines. And then I have the kind of instinctive flinch, and then I hear the window shatter and I get shot.
You just used the description, your peripheral vision, correct?
Correct.
So is that the same type of peripheral vision you described seeing Dolan's truck arrive alongside you.
Correct.
It wasn't your field of vision here, was it?
No.
It was more here.
Correct.
I see. And so, if you're seated in the driver's position, the driver's seat, and you're making use of your peripheral vision, where does that place the figure you're perceiving that way?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Where would someone have to be relative to your position for your peripheral vision to be where you perceive the figure?
Next to me, on the side of.
And is that where this defendant was when he shot you?
Yes.
And before he shot you, he said what?
You're going to get shot.
Nothing further.
Well, I guess, Mr. Vincent, we all have peripheral vision. We see some things on the side. But what we can clearly see is what's right in front of us, right?
Correct.
If he was right in front of you, as he was, and he was in front of your car, you saw him directly, not with peripheral vision, right?
Could you repeat that?
If he was right in front of you and in front of the hood of your car, you saw him directly, not with your peripheral vision, right?
While he was in the front of my car, yes. But then when he rounded the side, it was my peripheral.
You described him just now, and you did yesterday, sidestepping,
Correct.
right? Meaning he's in a position going to his side,
Yes, he moved pretty similarly to how you just did across
Right.
the front of my car.
to his right.
Correct.
And you drove forward to your left,
Correct.
right? In the very direction he was going to is where you drove to.
Correct.
And sidestepping sounds, does it not, like someone trying to get out of the way.
Incorrect.
Well, if you're coming forward and the person's in front of you and they're sidestepping, that doesn't sound to you like they're trying to get out of the way so you can drive by?
I don't know why he would have sidestepped into the road.
Because he doesn't want to get run over, Mr. Vincent. That's why.
He chose to step in front of my car
He
while I was
ended
already
up in
lurching.
front of your car. We went through this yesterday.
Yes, he followed my car and ended up in front of my car.
When you did that swervely move that you did, he ended up in front of your car.
Yes, after
Right.
following
And
me.
then, you just established him a second ago, he tried to get out of that way by sidestepping to his side.
I disagree.
You just said it.
What did I just say?
Sidestepping toward the street,
Correct.
out of the pathway of your vehicle.
In the direction my car was already going.
Just hit the brake. You didn't do that.
Well, this is a 1 or 2 second interval of time.
Yes, and in that very split second, decisions were being made on your part and on Dolan's part, right?
Correct.
Your decision was put the gas pedal to the floor.
We established yesterday that was a figure of speech. He never came in contact with my car with his torso or body or anything. If I put my foot to the floor, I would presume I would have hit him, which was not my intention and did not happen. He did shoot me, though, which was his intention.
And you brought it up on cross, redirect, I'm sorry. You told us how you're familiar with this area of the store, you've been there many times.
Correct.
People pick up at the window.
Correct.
The wind, they come out, right?
Yes.
And you were familiar with that.
Yes.
Why would you pull in right in front of that walkway and do a turnaround with the intention of backing into a spot when at any moment someone could have come out of that pizza place.
No, this was during COVID. No one was in there. You couldn't go in there.
Which is still, basically there could be people on the outside area.
Well, yes, but I could see the people that were outside. In the video before, you could see them standing there.
But you had no way of knowing if there was someone inside.
No, but where I went, there's no door. It's just like a sliding glass window, like at an ice cream shop where it's just windows. You can't get out of it unless you jumped out the window. There is a door, but it's on the other side.
And Mary full by agreement. And is Mary full by agreement? Clerk, if you could, put the photo viewer on. Showing Adam on the screen, that's the door you now acknowledge was there.
Yes, no, I never disagreed that there was a door there. I'm just saying where the windows are is where my car was going to go. See that white pot? Well, there's kind of two of them.
Yeah.
The white pot to the right is where I was going to park, that area. So not in the door area.
You said you were gonna turn around.
Correct.
You were gonna turn around and back into a spot. Right?
Yes.
That will put you even closer to that door.
Correct, but not in front of the door. And I was in that motion when I was blocked by his truck.
You don't wanna go over that. You turn in front of him. Right?
I disagree.
One question.
Mr. Colucci was just asking a recross about this sidestep business the witness.
Correct.
Dolan. You remember that?
Correct, yes.
When he was, as Mr. Colucci says, sidestepping to the front of your car, the center, do you have his gun out?
Not at that time.
When he sidestepped some more, did he have his gun out?
No.
When he sidestepped some more, did he have his gun out?
No.
When he made his way over to the driver's side door, did he have his gun out?
No.
When did you realize he had a gun?
I never saw I saw the gun in his holster, but I never saw him take the weapon out. I only heard him say you're going to get shot, and then I got shot.
Thank you.
You may step down. State may call the next witness.
State calls Joseph Greco.
Please raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you shall give to the court and the jury sworn in the case now on trial will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Thank you. Could you please state your name for the record?
Joseph Greco,
And could you spell your first and last name, please?
JOSEPHGRECO.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Good afternoon, Mr. Greco.
Good afternoon.
Can I call you Joe?
Yes.
I'd like to begin by having you tell us just a little bit about yourself, if you would. I'd like to start with what city or town are you from?
I'm from West Greenwich, Rhode Island.
How old are you?
18,
How long have you lived in West Greenwich?
17 years.
How far have you gone in school?
Graduated.
Where'd you graduate from?
Exeter West Greenwich High School.
What year did you graduate?
2022.
Since your graduation, have you gained employment?
Yes.
Could you tell us what that is?
A ship fitter at Electric Boat.
How long have you been doing that?
About 4 months.
Are you in any type of apprenticeship stage in that program?
No.
No, you're completed that?
Yes.
Okay. And how many hours a week do you work there?
40.
And I'd like to ask if you're acquainted with someone by the name of Dominic Vincent.
Yes.
How are you acquainted with a Dominic Vincent?
I've known him most of my life as a friend.
And in what context? School, neighbors, anything like that?
School.
And how many years did you and he go to school together?
Up until 10th grade.
Different ages from Dominic, correct?
Yeah.
And how much older is Dominic than you?
A little over a year.
And I'd like to turn your attention, if I could, to June 23rd of 2021. Were you in school at that time?
Yes. Well, summer break.
That had just
Yeah.
recently started, correct?
Yes.
And that day, where were you living?
In a hotel,
Do you know where that hotel was?
center of New England.
Do you happen to recall the name?
No.
And why were you staying there?
We're waiting on our apartment to be ready.
Who you were staying there with?
My father and my brother.
Can you use the mic, maybe move the mic a little closer on that?
Do you want me?
If you just push it a little bit closer, if you can.
Who were you staying there with?
My father and my brother.
No, specifically on June 23rd of 2021, did you have plans to get together with Dominic Vincent? Did you form plans that day?
Yes.
And about what time did those plans come together?
Around 6 o'clock.
And generally, what was going to happen? What were you getting together for?
To go watch the NBA game at his house.
And who was going to be doing that? Was it you, Dominic, and anyone else?
Me, Dominic, and my brother.
And how were you going to get to Dominic's house?
He was going to pick us up.
And did he in fact pick you up?
Yes.
And after he picked you up, did you go straight to Dominic's house?
No.
Make some stops along the way?
Yes.
What was the first stop you made after Dominic picked you up?
Walmart.
What car did he arrive in to pick you guys up?
A Audi A4.
What color?
Black.
Why were you going to a Walmart?
He wanted to pick up some things for his house.
What kinds of things?
Food,
after you left Walmart, did you make another stop?
Yes.
What type of stop?
Dunkin' Donuts
Why go there?
for drinks.
And who wanted to drink?
Dominic.
What did you get, if you remember?
I do not recall.
Now, at any time after Walmart and towards Dunkin' Donuts, parking lot even, did you guys think to order any food?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
We ordered a meat lovers pizza from Wicked Good Pizza.
And who made the choice of what type of pizza to order?
Not sure.
Are you a fan of Meat Lovers Pizza?
Yes.
And with respect to that order, was that going to be your next stop, Wicked Good Pizza?
Yes.
And did you have to get on the highway to go to Wicked Good Pizza?
Yes.
Tell us how that ride went.
Well, we exited Center New England and proceeded onto the highway. Then we took the exit. I'm not exactly sure what exit it is, to go to Wicked Good Pizza.
When you were, the three of you in the car, prior to getting on the highway, could you tell us what your memory is of who's sitting where?
Dominic is in the driver's seat. My brother is in the passenger seat, and I'm behind the passenger seat.
Was there music playing?
Yes.
Who was responsible for selecting the music?
Not sure.
It wasn't you, right?
No.
And you were in the backseat, I assume, alone, correct?
Yes.
What were you doing in the backseat? Were you trying to talk, or were you keeping to yourself?
Keep it to myself.
Did you have your phone with you?
Yes.
And were you paying any attention to the phone?
Yes.
And how much of your attention was paid to the phone during that ride as opposed to, say, looking out the windows of the car?
Say, most of my attention was on my phone.
But apart from that, what could you tell us about the ride? Could you sense how fast the car was going?
I could tell we were definitely going fast.
Were you able to look at the speedometer?
No.
But when you say you're definitely going fast, how could you sense that?
Just by like a glance at the window, the feel of the car.
And as the car is driving down Route 95, before it takes the exit you were talking about to get to Wicked Good Pizza, are there anything unusual happen with the vehicle?
No.
Any, to your ability to perceive, did Dominic nearly strike anyone?
No.
Did he wander all over the road?
No.
Was he in full control of the vehicle to the best of your ability to perceive?
As far as I understand, yeah.
So you take the exit ramp that leads off to Wicked Good Pizza. Do you have any memory of that, distinct memory of the car leaving the highway to get to Wicked Good Pizza?
Yes.
What's your memory?
Off to the off ramp, you start to slow down, and then we pull out right and continue on the Wicked Good Pizza.
Is this where you pulled into?
Yes.
At any point in in time from your departure, center of New England, onto the highway, and your arrival at Wicked Good Pizza, were you aware, did you become aware, before you reached Wicked Good Pizza, of a large white truck?
No.
When you got into the lot of Wicked Good Pizza, did you thereafter become aware of a large white truck?
Yes.
Tell us what happened as you, Dominic, your brother, pulled into Wicked Good Pizza. Take us from there.
We pulled in looking for a spot to park. And then the white pickup truck pulled in right in front of us. And we stopped the car for a second. And we, Dominic put it in reverse and reversed out of the parking lot.
You were in the back seat while this was happening, correct?
Correct.
When the car is put into reverse, all right, where are you looking?
And everywhere, mainly at the white truck, kind of just confused.
Right? When the white truck is apparent to you in the lot, do you notice anyone coming from the white truck?
When we reverse out, I noticed him. When we begin to reverse out, I noticed him leave his white truck.
Okay, let's then focus on that.
Okay.
When is the first time you become aware of a person in the lot of Wicked Good Pizza?
When he leaves the white truck.
When-
So, when we're reversing out, I can see him open the door.
That's your first perception, correct?
Yes.
And do you keep your eyes fixed on that person, or do you look in different directions like you told us?
Like different directions.
Does your sight ever return to that person in the lot?
Yes.
And when it does, what do you see?
I see a man like speed walking quickly towards our car, Dominic's car.
Do you or anyone else in the vehicle say anything?
Not that I recall.
And as this figure is speed walking, what's the car doing?
The car is reversing to face towards the road.
I'd like you to tell us, when the car goes into reverse and makes its way towards the roadway, does it turn at all?
Turns left.
And when you say left, what configuration does that put the car in? What orientation does it then have?
Puts the car facing forward in the direction of traffic.
And when you say the direction of traffic, you mean this way, even through the picture?
Yes.
And this is that Route 3 that you got off onto from the highway, correct?
Yes.
When the car is in that orientation, where, if you can perceive, where is this person?
This person is trying to get around the car.
What do you remember of that?
remember him still speed walking around the hood of the car onto the driver's side.
Do you see him at the driver's side?
Yes.
What part of the driver's side does he go to?
He goes to the front window, or the driver's side window.
And what happens? Do you hear anything? Do you see anything?
Can't really see him, but I hear the gunshot, and then I heard the gunshot.
Then what?
Dominic continued to drive forward very slowly and then pulled over about maybe a few 100 feet away.
When Dominic, let me back up a little bit. When the person who was in the lot and jogging towards the vehicle was in front of the vehicle, what was Dominic doing with the car, if anything at all?
He was doing nothing with the car.
Was it moving in the slightest?
No.
When you heard the gunshot, what could you perceive inside the cabin of the car?
I can see all of us kind of hunched over, and then we all proceeded to kind of lift our heads up as Dominic was pulling away, and we heard Dominic scream something along the lines of "I'm hit" multiple times.
And just to be clear, when you say Dominic said, "I'm hit" multiple times, what does the multiple times refer to?
Just him saying, I'm hit.
Right, just so we're clear, he is shot multiple times. Just want to be clear. So you say that Dominic was able to drive away, correct?
Correct.
And he goes a distance down Route 3, correct?
Yes.
And he stops.
Yes.
Do you know why he stopped?
He felt as though he could not drive anymore from the bullet in his arm.
And at that point, once the vehicle came to a stop, take us from there. What happens next?
I proceed to call 911, and Dominic proceeds to walk out of the vehicle, waving his hand and letting the person in the white pickup truck know that he is hit.
Did you remain in the vehicle while you called 911?
For a short period.
With your brother in the front seat.
So Mr. Greco, sorry, could you try to speak up a little, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
With your what was your brother doing in the front seat?
Pretty much as soon as Dom exited the vehicle, so did he, and he was the one who told me to call 911.
You said Dominic exited, and where did he go once he exited? What direction?
Just like straight, and then to the left towards the guardrail that was on the side of the road.
Was he traveling, walking back in the direction Wicked Good Pizza would have been?
Yes.
Did you turn and look that way to see where Dominic was?
Yes.
Besides Dominic, could you see anyone or anything else?
Saw the white pickup truck pull up behind us.
Do you recall how close it pulled behind you?
Not exactly.
What did you see next?
The man in the white pickup truck proceeded to exit his vehicle and walked towards Dominic and confronted him.
Tell us what you saw.
I remember him putting a tourniquet on Dominic's arm, and he was also on the phone with, I believe to be the police.
Say that last part again, I'm sorry.
He was also on the phone with, I believe to be the police.
Now, did either you or your brother assist with Dominic outside the car?
Yes, my brother was with him, kind of letting him squeeze his hand.
Can you tell us about the response that unfolded after you out of the car and pulled over? Were there emergency responders?
I was standing there, still talking to 911. They were putting the tourniquet on Dominic, and Dominic was just sitting on the guardrail in discomfort, obviously.
But eventually, did help arrive?
Yes.
And were you asked to provide a statement with respect to what you saw and experienced that night?
Yes.
You cooperated with giving a statement?
Yes.
During the course of the statement that you engaged in with the police, were you asked or did you volunteer to give a sketch of the scene at Wicked Good Pizza with respect to what happened there?
Yes.
Your Honor, will you 18 to be full for the state?
Any objection? Hold on a second. No. 18 is full.
Can you see that, Mr. Greco?
Yes.
Is this the sketch you drew with for the state police with respect to this investigation?
Yes.
So I'd like to just have you orient us to what we're seeing here. On top is a rectangle with the word pizza in it. Can you tell us what you intended to draw by putting that there?
The Wicked Good Pizza Shop.
And then below that rectangle with pizza in it is another area. Can you tell us what that represents?
The parking lot.
Now, have you been to Wicked Good Pizza frequently, or how big of a fan are you of that pizza?
I haven't been recently, but they're one of my favorite pizza shops.
So here we have a sketch you might identify representing Wicked Good Pizza and the lot. So let me start by pointing to this object here, which is on, I'll say, the right side of the lot that you've drawn. Do you see that?
Yes.
And it's basically a rectangle with a triangle on top.
Yes.
What were you putting there? Why did you put that there? What does it indicate?
Dominic's car.
And then there's another similar shaped figure adjacent to that. What is that supposed to represent?
The white pickup truck.
And were you intending to express a moment in time by placing those two figures where you did in the lot?
Yes.
And what moment in time was that?
When we first pulled into the parking lot and he pulled in front of us.
Now, below that first rectangular figure with a triangle on it, there seems to be an arrow, correct?
Yeah.
And why did you place the arrow in this diagram?
That, like, just show us pulling inside the parking lot.
Now, you've given us an account in your testimony that the black car you were in backed up, Dominic reversed, correct?
Yes.
Now, along the bottom of the sketch that you've given us, what is that supposed to represent?
The road.
And that would be Route 3?
Yes.
You've added some figures to that sketch of the roadway, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us what you drew there?
Dominic's car and the man in the white pickup truck.
All right. Is Dominic's car represented by, again, this rectangular figure with a triangle ahead of it?
Yes.
And the man from the car, where is he positioned?
On the side of Dominic's car.
And what moment in time were you intending to represent by that configuration of person and car?
Representing when the man shot Dominic.
He was on the side of the car.
Yes.
And when did you provide this sketch to the state police?
The night that it happened.
When it was still fresh in your mind?
Yes.
Is there any doubt in your mind that the person who shot Dominic was on the side of the car when the gun fired?
No.
When the gun fired, and you were in the car and experienced the result, were you put in fear?
Can you repeat that?
When that gun went off, were you put in fear?
Yes.
Did you think you might be hit?
Yes.
Can I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Have you step down this time? Okay. We're gonna take our lunch break. We start at 1:30.